And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. How are you today? Thursday, believe it or not, and a lot cooler outside. For the first time we've been able to say it's been in the 60s, and I don't know when, 69 right now as you crack open your front door. Maybe it's the deck that you're going to go out and sit on. Always nice to feel that good temperature. Is that the word I'm looking for? It's a cool feeling. You know what I mean. Today it'll be hot, though, 95. We're expected to get to 98 on the heat index side. If you think that's bad, just wait till the weekend. As they always say, hold my glass of tea. Okay, maybe they don't say it that way, but it's coming. We'll have hotter temperatures reaching almost triple digits over the weekend. At least 99 is expected. We got full weather details coming up in a moment to get you updated with all that's going on. It is a bright and early Thursday. It's like we get a restart every day to fix everything right that we didn't get done yesterday that was correct. It's the future. That's what matters. Correct our issues, our problems. Speaking of that, and I think I've got to adjust this, so my apologies before we go this. We're going into Collinsville First Baptist, and I think I've got to change it to today's. Got carried away with an issue and forgot to fix it. We'll do that. Y'all stay with us. Let's go to Collinsville now.
When I graduated high school, I went to work in an electric motor shop where we rebuilt electric motors.
Can you remember a time growing up where you had a moment of stupidity and you talked back to your mom or your dad? I can remember a few times where I lost my good sense, and then I was scared that I would lose my life when I talked back to my parents. You know, one time in particular sticks out when my dad and I were walking on our land, and I had my 30-06 just in case we saw a deer. My dad thought I was being a little too careless with the gun, and when he gave me instruction, I jerked the gun away. My dad was so mad he couldn't get a word out. All he could do was point back to the house telling me to go. I knew I'd messed up royally, and I'll tell you this, I never was careless with the gun again. You know, God tells us there's wisdom in listening to our fathers. Here's what Proverbs 13:1 says. A wise son responds to his father's discipline, but a mocker doesn't listen to rebuke. Certainly, there are those of us who have not been given a wise or godly father, but there is general wisdom in listening to God who has entrusted them to us. Better yet, we have a heavenly Father who has wisdom far beyond what anyone on earth could. May we be those who listen to instruction and not disregard it, because remember, change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Hope you enjoyed that. Always a good way to get our day started. When was the last time you went to, and this is the best way I know to describe this, for folks like us that probably go to a place like Cades Cove and Great Smoky Mountains and you see the wildlife. Maybe you've been to a zoo and things of that nature. Always be careful when you're visiting Yellowstone National Park. They've got buffalo. We'll go outside the United States for this morning's story. And I urge you, don't be getting close to animals that are doing things. I've never been on a safari. There's a lot of people who've had that opportunity to go on these. South Africa is where this happened, where a couple got out to take pictures of elephants. Anyone want to know how this ended? Not good. They were trampled to death. I could really care less about taking a picture of an elephant mating, but they thought it was a great idea and got out of their vehicle, and they are no longer with us. Respect wildlife, especially buffalo. They really don't like for you to get near them. That's the closest thing to us. As we go to Alabama, next week they're getting ready to execute someone. Let me tell you the story of this, of what happens. His name is Keith Edmund Gavin. Back in 1998, a guy that delivered for his living. You know, kind of like a UPS guy. Pulled over in front of a bank, went inside, got him some cash. He was going to take his wife out to eat. He was murdered for what money he had on him. I don't know what he took out of the bank ATM. I guess I could find out. He was murdered in 1998. Next week is set for this man to be executed for this, and he's suing the state because he doesn't want an autopsy performed on him after he passes away. Well, number one, I don't understand why they do autopsies on that. If you're put to death by the death penalty, does it matter? But he is suing over his religion, stating that they should not be able to do that. We'll see how that turns out. And we wonder why our courts are so backed up. My 2 cents for what it's worth on that subject. But 1998, this is 24, which means 26 years ago if we do the arithmetic on that. Horror breaks my heart to tell you this next story as we go to Arizona. Tucson is where we'll go. A 2-year-old little girl is dead. She fell asleep in the back seat of a car and passed away from heat exhaustion. We can't stress enough about this heat and how bad it is. Never leave a pup, an elderly person. I got another story that involves this, or a child. This heat is horrible. Tucson, they get into the triple digits every day. That's just, it's horrible. It just makes my skin, the hair stand up on my arms to think about that. And I see this next story as being true because I remember as Katrina came through here some many, many moons ago of the tensions that come about after a few days without power. We Americans really have got accustomed to that, haven't we? Well, temperatures, people are hot. There's a lot of temperatures flying and things being said that they shouldn't be. Nothing's got out of hand in Texas yet, but we do understand. It happens in Louisiana. That's happened to them quite a lot. They're losing that power. JetBlue is got a lawsuit against them. How do you feel about this? This almost reminds me of McDonald's. She orders hot tea and spills it, and she's suing for $1.5 million for having hot tea spilled upon herself. It's an airplane. It's bumpy. Have you ever been to Costco? I know they're not popular or they're not big here in the Deep South. I think they're bigger in Texas and places like that. Costco, I've heard of them. They're going to raise their membership to where you can go in. It's sort of, kind of, I think, like a Sam's maybe. I don't think they've gone up on anything like that here lately, but usually one follows the other, doesn't it? Ellen DeGeneres is making us a promise. Do you think she'll keep it? She says after this Netflix special is over, she's through with the spotlight and will disappear.
Works for me.
Can I buy the cake for this party?
Yeah.
She's just not my favorite. I don't have anything against her. It's just not my cup of tea, as they say. There's a lot went down with that show and what was said. Let's see here. This is going to be the wave of the future. It's coming, and we have to adjust with what happened to the trends. Have you noticed that outside of a store, that pickup, you notice this, there'll be 5, 6, 7 cars out there. It's getting bigger and bigger. It's grown 22% in the U.S. over the last year. Home deliveries are even getting bigger. So maybe that milkman coming to your door years ago was not really a bad idea. He'd have to have more to bring now to make a profit. But Walmart, seeing this, they're going to be opening up 5 automated distribution centers as it tries to keep up with the grocery demand of what's going on across America. And what that, they say, is going to do is give them real time of the supplies that they have on hand to ship to stores and get to here and there. But that is growing. Y'all pay attention to all of this. I know the DoorDash thing is not really caught on locally, but eventually, if you own a restaurant, this is going to be more and more. The Domino's pizza guy, the delivery guy, y'all remember that? That is growing now as more Americans don't feel safe traveling into towns. And this is everywhere. This is not Meridian, Mississippi. This is not Jackson. This is Chicago. This is every city in America. We've got issues. Crime is up. Lack of people wanting to join law enforcement is driving people to other methods to get what they need, where they feel safer at home. That is coming. It's called customer service. One of those things you have to bend with. Y'all pay attention to that over the next year or two. It's changing the way Americans buy and get. That's why Amazon is so big. It's more convenient. It's delivered right to their door. Oregon. Boy, you want to talk about thieves. Now, I remember as a kid having a set Lego. Anybody have those before? Real popular. They've busted a store with over $200,000 worth of stolen Legos. They say the store owner bought them knowingly that they were stolen from his competitors in the area. He's in deep at this point. Not good at all. Did anybody like Shrek? Of course, Eddie Murphy played the donkey, and Man, was he funny. Y'all get ready. Coming in 2026, Shrek 5 will be at theaters or a streaming service to you. Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz returning with that. Mike Myers also being a part of that. Y'all be ready for that. That ought to be funny. They have not released one that has not been. And it's very seldom when you get that deep into a series that it's still good. So we're looking forward to that. That's a few of the headlines that are shaping America today. Hopefully some of that gives us a direction to what we need to do today. We're coming up next. We're going to get into your forecast to let you know what to expect today. We'll be right back.
CF Moto has arrived at Meridian Cycles. Come see us at 80 Highway 19 North or give us a call at 601-485-8700.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As I said a moment ago, we start today out at 69 right now with a high weighting near 95. As we look at our calendar here, as we roll it back to 1969, it was 101, some 55 years ago today. Back in 60, it was 47 this morning. That was the lowest that we've got recorded on record for this date. As we move forward to take a look about what's going on, this is the outlook for today, 95 in Meridian. We'll see 94-ish in Philadelphia. Now, don't hold me to it if it goes 95 or higher. We'll see the same in Columbus. And back over at the river, we'll start at Greenwood and go all the way down to Natchez and be somewhere between 94 to 92 as you get into Hattiesburg. Slight chance of rain in that area. As we go east to our friends in Alabama, we'll see that Demopolis on the river will have 93. We should see 94 right there in Livingston, Alabama as well, 95 in Tuscaloosa. Cooler as you get to Burmaland. Should be 92. Jasper about 93, the outlook there. Now, let's look at what's happening here with the heat stress this weekend. As I mentioned a moment ago, if you think today is warm, hold on to this. It's going to be warmer as we get into the weekend. We should see right at triple digits. Forecasted now at 99 for Saturday and Sunday. We could see triple before it's over. Now, as you'll see here, we've got this all throughout Lauderdale County, Newton County. Right now, Neshoba County not as hot expected over the weekend. Clark, you're in there, and Jasper as well, and all the way back to the Delta and southward to the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Watch this. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. is what they're saying is going to be the worst times over the weekend for it being hot, hot, and hotter. 105 is what we're expecting over the weekend. 98 today, by the way. As we look at this, the hotter weather still here in Lauderdale County, making its way into Alabama, and it will move on through Montgomery and eventually up to the Carolinas is what we're expecting. Still warm expected in Florida as well. A touch of cool air back west in California. It's nowhere near us. Don't expect it anytime soon until maybe December. No, really, it's always hot here, isn't it? As we see today's forecast, 95, 71 tonight. That slight chance of rain, it's just a teeny bit, 10% chance today and Friday. Tomorrow, moving to 98. And as I mentioned, look at that. Saturday and Sunday, 98. It's not going to budge, and it could go up to 100. We see that Monday is still holding steady in those upper 90s all the way through Wednesday. 98, 97. When we see that by Monday, we start going to a 40% chance of showers there. Slight chance of Sunday afternoon as well. Now, here's what we show all the way through July 26th. That's a mistake at the top. We'll see that we've got 94 all the way mid-90s, 92 there, all the way through July the 25th is what we're looking at. Chance of scattered storms on those. Now, we move forward to take a look at what's happening with the fishing forecast today. Perfect time began at 5 o'clock this morning. It will run through about 7. About 15 minutes left on that great fishing time. Another not bad time will begin right at 5:30 this afternoon and go to about 7:30, 7:40. So dark 30-ish, it should be good this afternoon. Some minor times there today at 11 o'clock through the lunchtime, but I'd hold off till late afternoon if I were you. Calm wind becoming north-northwest. Around 5 miles an hour is what is expected on that. Now let's look at what's going on here, and then we'll go to radar as we get into our tropics of what's stirring with all of that. As we pull up here, here's what we have. We have a 10% chance here in the Atlantic of something developing. Only a 10%, and it looks to be staying on the east of the in the water. Now, let's go back here and pull up radar and just look at what Burrell is doing this morning as we pull this up. Well, we can get into this right where we are. Let me back this out, and here we are. Let's pull up radar as we go to right up here. It's sitting here this morning near Buffalo, moving that way toward Toronto. It's still got 35-mile-an-hour winds, gusts of 46 miles an hour. It's a tropical depression. Rochester here, and those areas there, and it's going to move on out eventually toward Canada, toward Ottawa, and those areas there. Making its way out of Cleveland, Ohio, just east of Detroit is where it's been. It's brought a lot of rain. Look at this as it moves into Canada. They're going to have it as well. Now, we move back down closer to home. Let's go back here in the great state of Mississippi. We're showing some fog at Hattiesburg. If you've got to travel south, if you're going to be on 49, anywhere near headed toward the coast there, 20. Be careful. You're going to get into some fog, 59 rather, 2059. You're going to get into some fog there around Hattiesburg, so be careful there. New Augusta, Purvis, Mississippi, there on Highway 98 and 49 is your big ones there. Petal got some as well, all the way over to McLean this morning. Now we go into North Mississippi, a fog advisory that we have out here near Corinth, showing some pretty good fog there this morning as well. This dense fog advisory will be until 9 a.m., and it goes into Savannah, Tennessee, all the way up here through Lexington to Paris, Tennessee. We'll have a little bit of fog there as well. And if you'll see, look at that eastern Tennessee, they've got it as well. Asheville, North Carolina, south of Huntsville has a little bit there, and southeast of Birmingham has some fog this morning as well. So those areas that you're traveling, especially these bigger cities, be careful. You get into Birmingham, they don't play with that traffic anymore. Jackson, I-55 is about the same. I'm getting to where I don't care to drive in that stuff. How about y'all? Support those truck drivers. God bless them. They have to deal with that every day. It's not my line of work in those big cities. Man alive. Y'all be careful. That's what we've got with the forecast at this point. Odie's standing by. He's studying with a cup of coffee over there. I see him in the break area, trying to take his smart pill before we begin this morning. Join us, won't you? This all begins at 7 o'clock. There was a lot of things that went on yesterday. Do you know about them? Well, we're going to tell you. We'll get all local here in just a minute, beginning at 7 a.m. We can't do it without you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Miss Wilda, I see you. Patricia, Mr. Richard joins us there. James, Beth. Ooh. Let's see here. Rhonda is up as well. I see that all the way from Collinsville. James joins us. And from Philadelphia, Miss Charlotte Gray. We got so much to talk about. Be a part of it with us, won't you? It begins at 7. That's about, roughly 10 minutes from now. We'll see you then at the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners.